Hey guys, we're going to talk about how to play piano and keys at the same time. So how do we do it if we're the only piano and keys player for the weekend or for a service? So we have the Nord. I already have two pianos set up. The first one is the grand piano. This is by itself. Sounds great, but if you add another layer, the second layer with an upright, you see how full it gets bigger. Normally I do the Royal Grand, and my second layer is my Bambino upright. You can change those two as you like. Then I do have my reverb. So without reverb, let me do it by layer so you can hear the difference. That without reverb, with the reverb on. So it kind of creates a little bit of space. Make sure you check with LP. Sometimes it's too much, sometimes it's not enough. So make sure you communicate with LP so they can know how to mix those sounds. Then I add the second layer without, and then with reverb on. See how it changes the tone? It actually creates a little bit of harmonics in there. So with the upright pianos, make sure you stay away from the low notes if you're playing with a full band, because that creates a lot of harmonics there. So you just be careful when you use those. And then you can use the compressor as well. And again, check with LP if you're having too much compression on it, or if you can add more compression on it. Cool? So that's the piano part, and you're using the Nord. Now, let's go to the keys part. So that you will be using main stage, and within main stage, in all of your campuses, you will have an Omnisphere instrument. And what I do, I just create 3 layers. So my first layer is a dark pad. And let me show you how that sounds. And I will play this part of the pad behind the piano. So I'll play it like this. And I can control how much I blend between the piano and the pad. Normally I'll keep it pretty low. It's more like you don't hear the sound, but you feel the sound. So instead of just playing too many notes in the middle, I'll just hold it. You hear the reverb, the compressor coming up a little bit too from the piano, and the pad in the background. One thing that I won't do if I'm playing like this, I won't be, because all that triggers the pad in the background, and you hear it. So then the other tool that we can use for that, with Omnisphere, I create 2 more channels, and these are my shimmer tones from pads. This will be just latch pads. And the way we do it is we assign this layer in here. So the easiest way to do is hit learn over here and just hit the highest note that you wanted to trigger. That's a C. And then the lowest note, which I'm gonna keep those patches all the way up to my piano sounds over here, my last 2 octaves. That way I can still play piano, but not without triggering all of these. So that will be my E. And I'll do the same thing for my second layer. I'm using the same sound right now, or the same patch, but you can get creative and use as many sounds as you want. So the main thing that you need to know in here, the latch, right here you see an Omnisphere, it needs to be on in both of these instruments. So these 2 are on. And they're playing right now because I played that note earlier. So let's say we're gonna play a song in the key of A. Make sure you bring your piano sound if you're using the Nord. So the first one, if you transition into a different song, just hit that. So we're gonna be in A major, so we hit 1 and 5. And then we can bring those 2 latch. As you can see, you're not doing anything right now. You just fade in those 2 in. Then you can bring your piano up and your dark piano a little bit, and you can start the song. Again, all those sounds are separate, those patches or those layers are separate, so you can just bring those down a little bit because it's too loud. And the way I do it, I have the shimmer low and the shimmer high. So if you listen here, this is my shimmer low. So I can start with that for my verse or my down moment of the song. And when we build it up to the bridge, I don't have to do a lot. I can just bring this layer up. And that creates an extra layer without doing too much. But that way I can control it separate. Plus the DAR pad in the background with the piano. So let's say we're gonna end the song. We end that, I'll fade it out. I fade this out too. So one of the things you need to know in Omnisphere, to stop the latch, you have to hit exactly the same notes that you played before. So I'm gonna hit A and E, which that's the notes that I trigger with. That's A, and then we're gonna go to G. That's drastic. So I can hit G and D, and that will fade it in. Again, I'll bring my piano in, or even just my DAR pad. And then my piano. And we end the set. I can just hit again the same notes, G and D, and that will fade it. And we just bring the DAR pad down, and then we just now on piano mode by itself. Okay, so that was a really quick introduction how to play piano and keys together for a weekend service.